In the Wizard of Oz, Robin, when Dorothy figures out that the wizard is just a guy behind a curtain.
Yes.
Same thing happens to us when we grow up, right?
Yeah, it does.
We realize, hey, wait a minute. They were just like me.
Yeah.
Our next guest has a very funny and profound book. Maybe she hasn't heard anybody describe it as profound. Pamela Druckerman is on the phone. The book is currently #1 in a couple of different categories on Amazon. There Are No Grown-Ups, a midlife coming-of-age story. Pamela Druckerman, good morning. It's an honor to have you on our show. How are you?
Good morning. It's an honor to be on your show. And I'm a Floridian, by the way.
Oh, really? And where are you right now?
I'm in Paris. I live in Paris, but I grew up in Miami.
Oh,
nice.
Well, two good cities, yeah, Paris and Miami. So thank you for sharing this with us. Let's see, how do I put this? Robin and I are 63, so I kind of can understand what you're saying, but it never changes. No matter at what age you're at, you're always like, oh, wait a minute. This is old, right? Isn't this supposed to be old, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right.
My dad is in his 80s, and he says the same thing. He's waiting for the grown-ups to come along and tell him he's not allowed to be doing whatever he's doing.
Do you think the aging process and the aging observations are different for women than men?
I don't know. I have to say that. I wrote as a woman, but also as a person, and I found that a lot of men relate to the changes I'm describing too. I mean, even around looking older, it used to be that there was such a double standard, but I found that a lot of men are very worried about becoming the creepy older guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As they enter their 40s.
Yeah. Well, here's a hint for those guys: stick with your own age group, then you'll be fine.
You are the creepy older guy, right?
Yeah, right.
You have very humorous stories in here, but you also do have historical references like Ellis Island.
Yeah, I write about my own family's history of emigrating to America and at the turn of the last century, and I think part of hitting midlife and developing a kind of wisdom as you grow older is understanding where you're from and your own context. And so for me, it was about kind of understanding my the family history of emigrating to America, and also being able to trace some of the qualities that I found in my family through to my parents and onto myself.
Do you think have you observed the world changing as you got older in ways that you didn't expect?
Absolutely. I write in the book that one thing in the 40s and kind of becoming a grown-up is you have this thought, oh, someone should really do something about that, and then you realize, oh my God, I'm the someone. The someone is me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're talking about the contemporary political situation, which is it took, I think, a lot of us by surprise. Sure.
Well, and part of that is an observation you have in the book about people who are narcissistic, people who think for some reason that they're better or more important than anybody else. And all of our lives we've seen these people, but we believed them at one time. Now we realize that's a bunch of nonsense.
One thing that happens when you get older is you become less cluttered with concern about what other people think of you. So you can take in more information about other people and what they're like. So you can kind of, I don't know if we're talking about a political context now, but you're in your personal life, you tend to get better at spotting narcissists before they ruin your life instead of after.
Right.
You weed out people better. Right. You can judge their qualities.
Oh yeah, and in political and in personal, when you perceive somebody to be all about themselves, in your personal life, if they're still fun to be with, let them believe that they're the best thing that ever happened. I'd rather be with an egotist than a sad sack.
Yeah.
Well, I've realized in my middle years that I have two requirements for someone to be my friend. One is that they have a sense of humor. They don't have to be hilarious, but they have to have some distance from themselves, a kind of sense of humor about themselves. And the second is that they have to be nice.
You also talk about raising families, how women of childbearing years are in their 40s now.
Yeah, it turns out that the rate of women in their early 40s having babies has doubled in the last 25 years. It turns out that those statistics, those scary statistics about how if you don't have a baby by 35, you're pretty much, you should abandon all hope. That was based on 18th century medical statistics before antibiotics and certainly before IVF. So women are, there's no guarantee, but we're much more fertile, much longer than we had previously thought. And many more women are having babies and taking advantage of that. But it changes what the 40s and the 50s are, their place in the lifespan. It creates a kind of new opportunities, new possibilities, but a lot to do. It's a very busy time. You can have small children and aging parents at the same time, plus a very busy job.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that Facebook did, I don't know if you're a Facebook fan or not, but for me personally, one of the things Facebook did was it reconnected me with some of the people I knew when I was much younger. And I looked at all of them and thought, oh my God, you got so old looking, and not realizing that, I probably did too.
Yeah. It's one thing when it happens to other people, but when you look in the mirror and it's happening to you too, it's kind of a shock.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, you probably haven't had the moment yet. You're probably still too young for this, but you go to a place and they give you the senior discount, and you go, really?
Yeah, right.
Do I actually look like I'm ready?
I have had the experience of walking into a drugstore to buy some face cream, and the saleswoman's just kind of gently steering me toward the anti-aging cream.
Oh no, that's not good. That's not good.
I love how at the beginning of every chapter you have, you're in your 40s when, and you give points to ponder, and it's really, really very true what you've observed.
One of them is, in your 40s, you sometimes wake up hungover, even when you've had nothing to drink the night before.
Exactly.
Yeah. The one I can relate to, you watch The Graduate and you identify with the parents. That was me. Yeah, I did that too. Well, it's very funny. In Robin's point is that you could just read those pieces and you'd be very entertained by the book. You're doing really well with the book.
You.
I mean, how fun is it to have a book that's doing well on the charts?
It's very exciting. It's very gratifying. I worked for probably 4 straight years on this book, trying to make it readable and funny and both kind of high and low. It's a combination of my own story plus a lot of research and reporting because I'm a journalist. So I'm very gratified to hear that you think it's paid off.
So some of the favorite athletes are the sons of the guys who used to be your favorite athletes. That's kind of that's the female version of the creepy guy, right? Isn't it?
That one, I have to admit, came from my husband, who's a big sports fan.
Oh, okay. Well, you get a break there. Fun interview. I wish it was longer. Pamela, thank you for being on the air. I found the book on Amazon. Do you have a website you want to direct us to?
It's PamelaDruckerman.com.
Okay, very good. Pamela, thank you, and come back with the next book.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Palm Garden announces Fast Track. Fast Track, focused assessment, safe transition. When a new guest is admitted to Palm Garden, we start with the ABCs. A is the assessment.